Here now, Dustin Olson, pollster for American Pulse Research and Polling. He's also the host of the Political Trade Secrets podcast. Good morning to you, Dustin. Thanks for being here. How much of an impact does an RFK getting out of the race and then throwing his support behind Donald Trump have?
It's been interesting watching RFK over the last 10 months. It's only 10 months ago that he actually became an independent. Last summer, he was running as a Democrat. And to see the journey, he was at the high point, he was at 16.7% of the vote, which is a pretty large number for an independent. All the way to the week that Harris got into the race, he was still close to 10%. And now he's dropped down to, on average, around 4.5 to 5.5%. That's a pretty big cut in his support in the last month. And a lot of the support that's gone to Harris and getting the race basically dead even on a national level has been from RFK supporters. So this has been a really, the change up in the race a month ago with Biden dropping out has had a real impact on the race, obviously. And RFK Jr. has been one of the biggest losers when it came to that. Now, what happened is most of the people who were inclined to go towards the Democrat have already done that. So now when you look at that 5%, or in our polling, it's actually 3% nationally. That support is mostly people who would go towards Donald Trump. When we look at our favorable ratings for RFK Jr., people who say they have a very favorable rating of him, those people, 52% say that they would definitely vote for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris, and she gets about 30%. That's actually, that will make a difference of potentially 0.5% to 1% on the national level, which at this point, Kamala Harris isn't running as well as Biden or Clinton was at this point in their races in 2020 and 2016. So that could have a huge difference. Now, I can go into the states also. The states, it's a mixed bag, honestly, for Trump. It's not a perfect situation for him.
Well, and I think when you talk about the states, I'm curious where RFK Jr. was polling in some of the battleground states. I'm thinking Pennsylvania, for one.
Yeah, in the battleground states, he's actually doing a little bit better. He gets closer to 5% there. So in the battleground states, if you take him out, the states where Donald Trump will do better would be in Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. But then Harris actually does better in Nevada and Georgia based off of him being removed from the race. So, it's a little bit of a mixed bag for Donald Trump. But I would say overall, this happening the day after the Democrat convention, it does have an impact. It's not the same as Biden dropping out a few days after the Republican convention. That was obviously earth-shaking, but this will have an impact, and it could, Donald Trump wins. It could be the moment that people said, well, that was when the race was over.
What are the top issues for RFK Jr.? I mean, you mentioned 10 months ago he got into the race. For his supporters, especially those who are independent, what most mattered to them and would align with Donald Trump?
That's a really good question, because there's really it's not a large cohort, and it's not something a lot of people have polled on. Generally, for the public overall, it's going to be the economy and inflation. With RFK supporters, at least in months past, they are definitely more of the anti-establishment folks. They're people who were rejecting both parties in most cases, and also rejecting ultimately the party currently in power. So you're not going to get a perfect situation where all those people are happy with Trump. That's definitely not the case. But it'll be at the margins that those people are going to come to him. But economy is the #1 issue for almost every demographic.
Yeah, always is. Dustin Olson, American Pulse Research and Polling. Thank you.